Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-in episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. Today, I'm super thrilled to talk about Camp Rainbow Gold, and we have Executive Director with us and the Capital Campaign Manager with us. I've got Elizabeth Lisberg with us. A lot of Z's in that for me, and Lonnie Levitt Barker with us today. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Thank
Happy
you.
Friday.
Happy Friday. Well, Lonnie, you and I have had lots of conversations, had a lot of fun. I remember that first time we had lunch together. We just really bonded, and I'm just so excited to help share what Camp Rainbow Gold does. And Elizabeth, I have no idea how long. We've never had lunch together, so I can't wait to have lunch with you. But I'm so excited about the work you do and hear more about what's going on in your world and how you're impacting the lives of children and families that are dealing with cancer. So let's start with you, Elizabeth. Tell us a little bit about your background and history of work that led you to Camp Rainbow Gold.
Well, it was actually my family that led me to Camp Rainbow Gold because my brothers and my mother were volunteers at Camp Rainbow Gold before I started working with them. And they would tell stories, and it just always captured my heart. My brother knew I was at a place in my life that I wanted to make some change. And he called me and said, there's a job open. You need to apply. This was 17 years ago. And it has a nonprofit has the perfect combination of helping others and wonderful people to work with, in business, my two passions. And so I've been with Camp Rainbow Gold ever since.
Are you from Idaho? Have you been in? Tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I definitely claim Idaho as my home, but I was born and raised for many years in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh.
But I went to high school in Boise and have been here the majority of the time since then. So I absolutely claim Boise as my home and my heart.
Awesome, Elizabeth. And you're CEO of Camp Rainbow Gold, and you have been for the past 17 years?
I've been with them for 17 years, yes.
Wow. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to get back to you. Lonnie, tell us a little bit about your background and history of work that led you to this fundraising opportunity with Camp Rainbow Gold.
Yeah, it's funny because when Elizabeth hired me, I said I could never ask anyone for money. That just is out of my comfort zone. And here I do. That's what I do. But I don't ask for money for myself. I'm asking for the kids, and that makes it just fine. I got involved because my youngest, I have a son who's now 14. But when he was 2, almost 3, he was diagnosed with a form of leukemia. And we battled, about 4 years, and it was brutal. And I think we were about a year into treatment when one of the pediatric oncologists at St. Luke's suggested that we send our daughters, our girls, to Camp Rainbow Gold's sibling camp. And I, at that point, hadn't heard about Camp Rainbow Gold and checked it out. And somehow we felt comfortable enough to send our little girls away for a week with strangers. And honestly, it was the greatest gift for them and for me. As a mom, when you're focused on trying to save a child's life and keep one child alive, you tend to do this with the other children, and they do get pushed aside. And at that point in our lives, they were being raised by relatives and friends and neighbors and church members and the community, because we were in and out of the hospital constantly. And Camp Rainbow Gold was a beautiful gift for our family. It was a week for our girls to go to camp each year and have it be all about them instead of all about their little brother. So we fell in love with camp. We ended up going to some family camps and understood the magic of it. And I was sold. So I volunteered. I was on the board for a short stint until I quit to run the Capital Campaign.
That's awesome. Lonnie, thank you so much. So glad you're a part of the Camp Rainbow Gold team. And I look forward to sharing more. Elizabeth, tell us the origin story of Camp Rainbow Gold. When was it founded? And then kind of bring us up to speed where we're at today.
Absolutely. It it's been over 40 years now that Camp Rainbow Gold has been around. And it started because a little boy went to his doctor's appointment and he was kind of down and gloomy. And Dr. McCluskey out of Twin Falls asked him, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I don't get to go to camp." And the doctor said, "Why not?" And he said, "Because I have cancer." And Dr. McCluskey just knew that was wrong and he was going to make a change. And he was on the board of the American Cancer Society at that time. And they got a small grant and gathered 6 kids, I believe it was, and they actually went camping. Grab some tents and let's go out and have a camping weekend. Yeah. And so that's how it's started. And we've come a long way. We started with a weekend of camping. We have grown through the years. I mentioned American Cancer Society. In 2014, we actually rolled out from underneath the American Cancer Society and became our own independent nonprofit. And that's when we actually started being able to have even more growth. And we have 5 camps. We support, as Lonnie mentioned, the Brothers and Sisters. It's a camp near and dear to my heart. And then we have a camp that serves the younger kids diagnosed with cancer, and we have one for the teens. And then we have 2 family camps each year, and that supports the entire family to come out and have 4 days of fun and leaving all that medical behind. We're most known for our camps, but we also have a college scholarship program that has awarded more than $1 million to Idaho's kids and siblings that have been dealing with a cancer diagnosis. We have a teen support group, and we also do year-round family events. So it's a full service because cancer does not just impact the child that was diagnosed. It impacts the entire family. And so we support all of them, and we do it at no cost to the families.
That's awesome. Where did the camp start? And then, because I know it's moved a little bit over the years, so maybe I'll bring you both on. We can tag team this a little bit, maybe back and forth. So Elizabeth, tell me where like the first kind of camp was started, and then maybe Lonnie, tell us where we're at now.
Well, after the camping out in the woods, we actually were over at Paradise Point in McCall.
Oh, that's right.
Until the 90s. That's where we first started. And then we grew out of that and we began leasing Cathedral Pines up north of Ketchum. And we also leased Camp Perkins, which is up by Galena. Because we continued to grow, it required us to lease many different camps around the state in order to continue to meet our capacity and try to meet the needs of the kids that we serve.
You know, Elizabeth talked about we're in our 41st year with Camp Rainbow Gold. And in those years, there's been some growing pains. She talked about having to move sites. One of the things we've had to do over the years is we turn away about 50 to 60 children and families in the summer, in our summer camp seasons, because 3 of those 5 camps she talked about are maximum capacity. And so we knew for a number of years that we needed to come up with a more permanent solution. So we weren't turning away campers. The other challenge we had, other than no long-term leases, which was not fun, the other challenge that we had is there's nothing in the entire state that's designed for a child who has medical needs or physical needs. You know, we would go up to the camps, we would lease early. We would take a group of volunteers and we would take 4 moving trucks, 4 big trucks, and we would take up supplies to build wheelchair ramps into every single building and to put, grab bars and handheld showers and benches. And then we would take it all down and store it to the next year. So we knew we had to come up with something better, because even though we were going to all this work, we still had a young man overturn in a wheelchair on a bark path. You were trying to make things work and as the best you can, but it wasn't the greatest solution. So I'm just going to jump into our big property. In 2019, we ended up purchasing 172 acres outside of Fairfield. Yes, we call it Hidden Paradise, and it truly is this magical place. It was an old golf course resort. They built a bunch of timeshare cabins around this golf course, and it had fizzled and had sat vacant for a number of years when we purchased it. And so we set about designing and building an accessible, adaptive, medically designed camp to host our camps. And then, Elizabeth, do you want to jump in and talk about how word got out and what happened?
So some may remember that our search for property drew a lot of media because we had a piece of property that was donated to us and it didn't work out. But treasures come out of trials. And that's how we found Hidden Paradise. Well, because of that media, other medical nonprofits around the state heard and contacted us about how they were dealing with the same challenges because there's not a medical camp here in Idaho. And they said, can we come? Can we come use the facility as well? And so once we were able to move in and get Camp Rainbow Gold settled, we opened it for other medical nonprofits that support adults, children with medical, psychosocial challenges. And we now, this current summer, are serving 8 other medical nonprofits with in Idaho coming in. There's some really cool stories. I'll tell one really quick one. The Epilepsy Foundation. Pre-COVID, they were having to send their kids to Colorado because there was not a facility here that would meet their needs. And right before COVID happened, they got a call and the Colorado camp said, we can't serve Idaho kids anymore. And so they had to cancel their camp. Oh. And last summer was their first summer to host their camp again at Hidden Paradise. And they're, in fact, on our site, as we are sitting here speaking, having their second Idaho Epilepsy Foundation. It's called Camp Hope. And they are now able to serve Idaho children and are continuing to grow every year.
And let me just add in, Paul, what's really cool about that story is Hidden Paradise has become our home, but it's also become home for so many other camps. Epilepsy Foundation of Idaho, Camp Hope, raised the money to build one of the mountain bike trails at the property.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool?
I love it. And I know Camp River Run is also another nonprofit that does some great things, and they need that space as well. So I'm so glad to see that.
They were there last weekend.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Well, and for those that don't know, where is it located?
Fairfield, Idaho, which if you don't even know where that is, if you go from Mountain Home and head towards Sun Valley, in that prairie where you think there is nothing, if you look over to your left on the highway, up in those hills is gorgeous, 172 acres of Hidden Paradise.
Well, Lonnie, I know that you and I communicated last week. My family and I were heading up through Ketchum, and I wanted to stop in while we were there, and I promise I'll make it over there. And I just missed it this time, but I can't wait to go check it out. All right. This is the 41st year. You guys are doing some incredible things for kids, teens, families, siblings, and now these other nonprofits that can utilize this space. Now let's talk about Project Gold. And I'm going to maybe just bring Lonnie on the screen here. We'll switch it around. Talk about Project Gold a little bit, Lonnie. What's that all about?
So when we bought this place, there were 26 buildings on site, and we ended up remodeling a lot of those buildings to make it work for our needs. But, we were kind of putting in some ADA bathrooms and some ramps and making it work, but it wasn't ideal. We had this plan, and I'm giving you the background. So a number of builders, BlackRock Homes out of the Treasure Valley, came in and said, we will build for you. And they built for us 6 new ADA cabins with the help of 3 other builders, Alturas Homes, James Clyde Homes, and Core Building Company. So we have 6 brand new cabins that we have used all this season and that they're using right now for Epilepsy Foundation. Beautiful ADA camps. They have air conditioning, they have heating, they have granite countertops in the bathroom. I mean, they are beautiful cabins. So we have those. CBH Homes came in and said, we will build you the remaining 6. And we're talking for free. They are all doing this. The generosity is unbelievable. They've basically have asked us to bring the bunk beds. That's all. So CBH is coming in, and not only are they saying, we will build for you these 6 new cabins, but we are going to do it in 3 days. Do you remember that old show? I'm not going to say how old. I think it was maybe 5 years ago, Extreme Home Makeover.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So CBH Homes was involved in that and did one of those episodes. And they are so skilled and have such the resources that they could pull this off. But they are going to build these 6 cabins in 6 days. So just imagine what that's going to look like. They're going to have all these crews of plumbers, all these crews of electricians, all these crews of painters, flooring, countertop, trim, cabinetry, you name it. And they're all going to be lined up. It's going to be logistically such an orchestrated, I don't even know how to put words. I mean, it's just going to be amazing to see them pull this off. They're building the walls for the cabins down here in Boise and trucking them up, and they'll have cranes, and they'll put them all into place on August 6th. August 6th, 7th, and 8th is when they pull the trigger, and everyone's going to come out and get this done. And we figure there will be hundreds of hands that will touch this project to make this happen for the kids.
Elizabeth, I got to have you add to that. Tell us, just put an exclamation point on this, what that Lonnie just mentioned.
Well, I mean, this is a $2 million plus donation.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing to watch this community come together. And that has been consistent since we bought the property. The community is making this Idaho Medical Camp happen. And CBH has supported Camp Rainbow Gold for more than 20 years. They've always been here with us. And for them to come in at this level and make this happen, which is going to change. Remember how Lonnie mentioned our capacity and turning kids away? This ends that. We won't have to turn kids away anymore. So it's truly spectacular and a community project that it's mind-blowing at times. And it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be pretty crazy 3 days.
All right. Can I show that quick little video? I'm going to pull that up.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to go here, open this thing up. Okay, here we go.
We have been friends, or maybe I should say super fans, of Camp Rainbow Gold for over 20 years.
We need 6 more cabins in order to stop telling children and families that they can't come to camp. We went in with a big ask to CBH Homes, and they said yes. So in August, they're coming out and they're going to build our next 6 cabins in 3 days.
Our philosophy at CBH Homes is love wins.
They encompass what we believe in, love.
And I think each one of us knows someone that's been touched by cancer. The opportunity for us to give back, it will be a life-changing event.
When this came to us, this falls right in our wheelhouse. This is what we're about as a company. It's about giving back. This was so important to us.
We're really impressed, really excited, and very, very grateful.
Okay, let me pull this up. Wow.
Isn't that
exciting? That's so cool. And I'm glad we were able to share that together today on this broadcast. How else can the business community support Camp Rainbow Gold?
Call me. Okay, so Paul, we have accomplished so much up there. It's insane. I mean, we have had incredible support. In fact, those who do nonprofit monster projects like this have told us that you typically see about 4 to 6% of in-kind donations from the community. We are well over 50%. I mean, I just told you about Black Rock Homes. I just told you about Corey Barton, and that's just part of it. You know, we had another company build an outdoor amphitheater for 200 for us. I could just sit here for hours and talk to you about what is taking place up there in the mountains. It's unbelievable. But I don't want people to get the wrong idea. We have so much more to do. It's crazy. You know, we are doing the best we can, and we're going as fast as we can to make this as accessible and safe and fun and magical for the kids. But our biggest need as soon as we get through Project Gold, is going to be turning our attention to building a main lodge. There's a lodge on site, but it's a small, tiny commercial kitchen that we literally are, Band-Aid making it work. And the lodge dining room inside will only seat 50, maybe 60 if you cram in. We're getting our full capacity up to 200 with these cabins. We need a place where we can serve them all together because, you go to camp, you want to be together. You want to be with your friends.
Oh, yeah.
But also if there's ever an emergency, think about the wacky weather we have here in Idaho and we need to get everybody inside at once. We don't have that right now. We don't have a multi-purpose building that we can do activities and have everybody housed at once. So that is big on our agenda. We're working on the plans and we're just starting to fundraise for that.
Okay. Elizabeth, in closing, is there anything that we missed that you'd like to educate the listeners on while we have you?
I think actually I'd like to take this opportunity and just thank the community. They've supported us for 41 years and we are a nonprofit funded through our community and we couldn't do it without everyone, without you. And so thank you for continuing to support us and supporting the Idaho children diagnosed with cancer and their families. It's life altering for them when they're already dealing with something so hard. So thank you. And like Lonnie said, call us.
Okay. Well, I can't thank you both enough for the work and effort that you put in behind and the passion for these families and kids dealing with cancer. I look forward to seeing you at your upcoming event. When's your big Share the Heart? What's it called?
February 15th next year.
Okay.
It would be a perfect getaway staycation for Valentine's Day plus a holiday. It's a holiday weekend. Come on out and join us at Share Your Heart Ball in Sun Valley.
Awesome. All right, you two. Have a great weekend. Thanks for your time and all you do. Say hello to the entire team and staff.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul.
You bet.
Thank you, everyone.